Right, I am a very, very happy person today. I have been thankfully lent this car behind me, which is the Mercedes C-Class, but a particularly special one because it is the C63 AMG. And the drive down here to do the introduction video for this car has been absolutely amazing. The speed in this thing is breathtaking, which hopefully will catch in the inside for you. Now, one thing since I started doing these reviews is people are saying to me, David, you're talking too long. As I did warn you, quite passionate about cars, but apparently kind of 9 minutes plus is a bit too long. So I'm going to try and cut it down today, and I'm going to cut it down in quite a simple way, to be honest with you. This is a performance car. It's a saloon, but it's a performance car. So let me run through the outside and the inside, probably with about as much care as you have for it as you possibly would, because what you're going to be interested in really is the engine and how it drives. So, nice and quick. Here's the boot. It's a good sized boot. It's a saloon though, so it does hamper practicality a little bit because of the opening of it. There's the back seats. They're nice. They've got leather. Here's the front. Comes with all the extras that you'd think. It's a 7-speed dual clutch automatic. It's got heated seats, electronically adjustable seats, memory seats, sat nav, etc, etc. But as I say, what you really want to know about is what's behind the 3-pointed star and what's underneath those bulges in the bonnet. So with that in mind, should we just crack on and drive it? I think that would definitely be a good thing. So I'll close the boot, get in the driver's seat and take it for a drive and let you know what it's like. Right, so as I said in the walk around, this is a performance car. So what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to sit here and talk to you about people sitting at the back, how much legroom, how much headroom, etc. I wanted to make the most of this video to talk about the performance of this car, but also the importance of this particular car. This is the 63 plate AMG C63, and you may have noticed that the C-Class itself has actually undergone a bit of a facelift recently. Mercedes has done a fantastic job of that. They've made it almost like a mini S-Class. What's more important, however, though, is the change in engine. This is a 6.3 litre V8 that produces about 450 brake horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. The change in the engine for the new one is it's a 4 litre V8, but it's a bi-turbo. Because it's a bi-turbo, it produces about 480 brake horsepower. I can't remember the pound-foot of torque on it. It changes the 0 to 60 time from about 4.5 seconds down to 4.1. But more importantly, what it does is it takes your CO2 emissions, so grams per kilometre. This is 280 grams per kilometre of CO2. The new one is 190. So that takes nearly 100 grams per kilometre off of your CO2 emissions. And that is the key thing. Car makers are being put under more and more pressure to make their cars more economical, make them last longer, make the miles per gallon go higher. So consequently, this goes from about mid-20s in terms of miles per gallon. This particular car is averaging up to 17,000 miles, about 18 miles per gallon. The new one has stated miles per gallon of mid-30s. Haven't been able to drive one of those to test it, but if anyone's got one, or Mercedes, you want me to drive one, I will do if you want me to, that's fine. So really in this video it's kind of talking about what the naturally aspirated engine is, what's the difference quickly between them and a turbo, and then really praising the natural aspirated engine for what it is, what it can do. Not sort of talking about the negatives of a turbo engine. Both engines are fantastic in their own right and have got pros and cons, but really thinking about if this is the last naturally aspirated engine AMG out there, the importance of this car. But also, you know, Mercedes aren't the only people doing this. BMW, they've got a turbo in the M3. Ferrari are releasing a production turbo car for the first time in quite some time. Now, the naturally aspirated engine and the difference between that and a turbo is the turbo takes exhaust gases to spin a turbine, compresses air as a result of spinning that turbine, and then puts the compressed air into the cylinder to react with the ignition and the fuel. Just put into a 60-mile-an-hour zone. That is brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. But you get to 60 very quickly, so then you have to back off. So yeah, it condenses air. It puts that into the engine, which makes the reaction sort of more explosive, produces more power out of a lower grade engine. That's how it works. A naturally aspirated engine obviously doesn't have to go through that process. Because it doesn't go through that process, it doesn't have turbo lag, where you're waiting for that air to condense, waiting for the turbo to spool up. So you don't get the turbo lag, so your power is more immediate, your power curve is more progressive. It's not sort of like nothing, 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 turbo hits, nothing, nothing, nothing. So you've got a much more sort of progressive power curve when you put your foot down. Now, in terms of how it is to drive, it is a C-Class. You know, a car that's made to do motorway miles, made to be very comfortable. Being the AMG version, it is harder suspension. It does crash around a bit at 30 miles an hour, but to be honest, with the speed that this thing's capable of, you're going to need that suspension when you put your foot down. So it's just a payoff that you have in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. You're going to be less comfortable. But having said that, seating position's really nice. You've got this armrest here, which is just about right, perfect to rest your elbow on. The seats are extremely comfortable. They're bucket seats, they hold you in position, which again, the speed it's capable of, you are going to need that. And the steering wheel is lovely and chunky. I've just put it into Sport Plus mode so that I can get across a little bit of the performance in this video. It is rear wheel drive, so those front wheels have nothing to do but grip. Have nothing to do but grip. So when you turn the steering in, it's immediate, it's very direct, and very, very positive. Gives you a lot of confidence in those corners if you are carrying speed through. It has got different driving modes, so Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and then Manual. In Sport and Sport Plus, you're looking at quicker gear changes, holding onto the gears for longer. In Manual, you're in control with these paddles here. I'm not going to use those today because doing that whilst talking to the camera does require quite a lot of concentration. I'm not that good at multitasking. It is a car that's originally designed to do you know, lots of miles, be comfortable, so visibility is very good all the way around. You've got large windows, it's quite a boxy shape. It's not an insult, it's just in terms of the windows are upright, they're the right shape for you to be able to see out of. You've got a lovely display here in the middle of the speedometer, which is an LCD display. Great graphics, very clear, very easy to read and quite functional. A bit more acceleration, shall we? Oh! Let's string these corners together. Beautiful steering, it's absolutely magical. So much grip. It's fantastic. Mercedes have really screwed this car together really well. All the controls are really, really positive. There is a bit of weight to them in terms of the steering, the throttle, etc. But in a car with this much power, I think you really need that, because it's kind of an are you sure sort of measure. Are you sure you wanted to steer in that way? Are you sure you wanted that much power right now? Because if you're not sure, and if you do slightly the wrong thing at slightly the wrong time, you are going to regret it, because you are going to end up wrapped around a tree. And the V8 noise, I mean, it shouldn't lose anything in the new one being the turbo. It is still a V8, but the V8 noise is glorious. You just get this low rumble, sort of burbling sound, and it's lovely. It comes all the way through you. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I had to record my voice right now, I'd have all the windows open. You are going to get attention in this car. As you saw from the outside, the styling isn't crazy. You've got wider wheel arches, you've got a little spoiler on the back, you've got the bulges in the bonnet, which you can see through the windscreen as you're driving along, which is a nice little touch, because you just know that you're in something special when you can see those. But the styling isn't crazy. You're not necessarily going to get a lot of attention because it looks like a mental car, but when you start it up, people are going to get the idea this car is about performance. Now, I mean, the steering is direct because of the rear wheel drive setup of this car. It means, as I said earlier, the front wheels only have to steer. They don't have to put the power onto the floor, they only have to steer. That means that you should be able to get more power through the corners, get back on the power earlier if you're driving through corners. cars, because you're not struggling, the tyres aren't struggling to do two jobs at once. Kind of like me explaining I didn't want to use the paddles whilst I was talking to you. If you've got one of these, my advice to you would probably be keep it if you can. Keep it low mileage, keep it good condition, because you could well have a future classic on your hands. An appreciating classic that could eventually, down the line in the future, be worth more than you paid for it, certainly more than it is now, because of its importance in terms of being the last of a breed. So I'm coming to the end of my time driving the C63, so I will close the video here. If you've enjoyed watching this video, then subscribe, like it, share it with friends. There will certainly be more, and I've got some really exciting cars coming up that I'm quite excited about. Hopefully you'll get excited about them. So that's the end of this video. As I say, like it, subscribe, share it round, get your friends to watch it. I really enjoyed it, and hope I can bring you even more content in the future.